Today, we have a very special husband and wife team that is impacting Hollywood with their faith-based films and so much more.
We are about to get started right now. Don't go away. You're watching The Difference. Hello and welcome to The Difference. The Bible says that you are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. How can you practice being salt and light every day? How can you make a difference in everything that you have a part in serving others?
That's right. You can take a part in being the light of the world. Today, you're going to recognize these guests from their work in Hollywood. You may know Kevin best from his starring role in the series of TV films Hercules, as well as the guest roles on programs such as 2.5 Men and The OC. And his beautiful wife, Sam, holds many titles, including actress, international model, activist, and author, just to name a few. This couple has seen the profound effect of what happens when you give of yourself, your time, and your resources. Please welcome Kevin and Sam.
Guys, it's so good to see you. Thank you. Welcome to The Difference.
Thank you so much.
Kevin, how you doing?
Kevin.
Pleasure.
Now, you know, when you have the opportunity to have the careers that you've had, movies and television, people kind of think that you're chosen for this kind of life, and yet so many times you're the guy that sat next to every other kid in middle school and just found yourself in the process of being in film and television. How did you get involved in acting?
Well, I grew up just outside of Minneapolis, and Minneapolis very much supports the whole thing that deals with plays and theater and the arts. They're very supportive of it. I was 11. We did a school field trip to the Guthrie Theater, very famous theater in Minneapolis, and it was the Merchant of Venice, Shakespeare. I don't know what the heck they were saying, but I was totally mesmerized by the actors on stage.
They were speaking in the wrong version.
You know, they probably were. That's Shakespeare. That's a Reader's Digest version.
Right.
And I was looking around, and I told my mom, I was a jock. I grew up playing all the sports, football, basketball, baseball. And on the way home, I told my mom, I said, you know, Mom, I think I'm going to be an actor. And she went, that's nice, dear. So kind of blew it up. But I didn't tell anybody because I fell into that world. Exactly. In Minnesota, curling is big. Yeah. I fell in that world of you know, the cliques in high school. I was the jock, and you hung out with those guys. We made fun of the people in drama class, but I wanted to be there. Yeah. And it wasn't really till I got into college I started really pursuing it and going after it. I double major marketing and advertising, but I had a minor in drama because I knew where I wanted to go. But I didn't know it was going to lead to the road that it led me to. I didn't move to Hollywood to say, I'm going to do faith-based movies. It wasn't in the...
Well, and actually, when both of you began faith-based movies, unfortunately, they were really bad. Yeah. You know, I mean, the work
videotape, cheesy scripts.
And they were all so, you know, cookie cutter. You know, here's the hero, here's the villain, here's the problem, here's the solution.
Completely predictable.
Yeah. And we gave it a slow clap and said that was good. But you know, the thing that has happened now is that, you know, faith-based film has become pretty much, in terms of quality, right on par with every other, you know, aspect of major motion pictures. Scripts are great. The actors are certainly experienced and know how to communicate the parts and the roles. You know, for example, the role you played in God's Not Dead. How many people do you meet want to apply the person that they saw on the screen to the person that they visit with?
You know, it's interesting. That little movie was built on word of mouth completely. I mean, it was a $2 million budget, made over $75 million box office in America alone.
Correct.
Well over $100 million around the world. And my mom called me up and she said, I saw that movie. I hated you in that movie. And I said, then I did a good job, didn't I?
Yeah, that's right. That's
so,
right.
And you know, I based that character really on a lot of people. I have atheist friends. I have agnostic friends. We have great debates. We still part as friends. But I've seen these guys on cable. I've seen that, the hate and the anger that they have about something they don't believe in. And it blows me away that they spend so much time and energy. They should go after Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny then, too, because you know that's a myth of them as well. So as Sam says, she goes, the best way to do this is you think of a Christian, you take away all reason and accountability, and then come up with an atheist. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I did with that character, and it was written so well. And same group of writers, they wrote a movie I did 2 years earlier called What If, which I think honestly is a better movie. If you haven't seen What If, please check out What If. It's on Netflix. Wonderful, wonderful story. All ages can watch this movie, and it's and that sort of really opened the door for me to start doing these type of films.
Yeah. And Sam, what about you? You're an actress did you want to become an actress since you were a little girl? Or
I wanted to become an actress from a young age, but I was discouraged by people in school. You'll never survive. You'll never have success. And so I went to college and I studied, and then I sort of fell into acting after I became a model, and it was just sort of a natural progression. Mm-hmm.
So now, in terms of acting, you started in film, you started in television, correct?
Right.
And how did the two of you meet? I mean, just out there in LA,
I played a princess on Hercules.
Oh yeah. So he came to rescue you to get the princess.
She hates this, but every 2 weeks they sent on a beautiful girl for me to work with. It was a great dating service, but she doesn't like to hear that. But that is how we met, and I worked very hard on her right away. I was smitten immediately.
It's actually a really good love story that's in his book, True Strength.
Well, and you mentioned your books. We've got several of them here today that we want to visit about. We've got True Strength, which is a story of kind of your career in life and struggles and challenges you faced. And we'll give you the opportunity to share that testimony because it's tremendous how, at a time when you looked invincible, you were confronted with anything but a tremendous amount of weakness. And then a project that you're working on or have worked on that has really had an impact in sharing good works and things that people do on an everyday basis to communicate the love and the light of Jesus Christ. And then something that's dear to our hearts, which is family and kids. So we've got a lot of these things to cover. When we come back, you're going to hear more from Kevin and Sam. I assure you, Hercules still has the heart of his princess. You don't want to go away. We'll be right back after this.
When you give to Sanctuary of Hope, you are giving a child a chance at life and a hopeful future. For your gift of $50 or more, you will receive as a gift a special coffee mug, an inspiring prayer journal, and Sam and Kevin Sorbo's book, Share the Light. And for a gift of $150 or more, you will receive all three gifts along with a framed wall art featuring a familiar blessing from Pastor Hagee.
And now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord...
Call the number on the screen or visit jhm.org.
Dear Pastor Hagee, I just wanted to write you to say how honored Rayla Jean and I are to have been partners in your ministry all these years, and to see all the amazing things you've accomplished around the world with the gifts we and others like us have gladly given over the years.
I want to thank you for making it possible for us to preach the gospel to the nations of the world. Thank you, and God bless you.
Become a partner today. Call the toll-free number or visit jhm.org.
Sanctuary of Hope. Will you help us change the world one life at a time? To show our appreciation, every gift of $500 or more will receive a framed painting entitled Hope and Liberty. For $1,500 or more, the Forever Free bronze statue. And for gifts over $2,500, a tree planted with a personalized plaque on the Sanctuary of Hope campus. Plus, your choice between the painting or statue as a thank you for your generous support. For more information, call the number on the screen or visit our website.
A country of immense natural beauty, world-class culture, undeniable history, and amazing people. Join John Hagee Ministries as we tour some of the most holy places in Israel. Experience the overriding spiritual energy many feel when visiting the Holy Land. Discover Israel with us on this Diamond Jubilee Tour 2018. Call the number on the screen or visit us at jhm.org.
Welcome back to The Difference. Kevin and Sam Sorbo are our guests. Kevin, in True Strength, you talk about, and the subtitle kind of says it all, a journey from Hercules to mere mortal. What was it that created this crisis, and what did you learn in the process?
I don't know what created it. I don't know if it was stress or the work. I mean, I was working 14 hours a day and lifting weights heavy 2 hours every single day, and 16, 18 hours door to door was a very typical routine for me. And I loved it, though. I was into it. But I started having problems with my left shoulder, my left arm. I couldn't figure what was going on. These fingers were numb. And it was the end of season 5. And we were engaged by this point.
Yeah.
And I had to come back to America. I lived in New Zealand for 7 years. That's where we shot the series. And I came back to America to do publicity in my first really big budget movie. I had the lead in it called Call the Conqueror, the prequel to Conan the Barbarian. So I did all these talk shows, went to different places. I'm up in Boston, my arm's on fire. They sent a doctor to my room. His name was Dr. Dye.
Dr.
I hope that wasn't an omen. But
Like D-Y-E?
Yes, D-Y-E, but he
Okay.
still should have changed his name. So I get back to LA, my doctor finds a lump up here, and he says, I'm gonna do a biopsy and check this thing out. Well, before I did that, I went to see my chiropractor. And I'm laying on the table, he's working on me, and he said, yeah, you got something going on here. I heard a voice inside my head said, don't let me crack your neck. And the voice said it very loud twice to me, and I didn't pay attention. I know it was God warning me, talking to me. I did not pay attention to it. He's never cracked my neck in 8 years. He knows I don't like a crack, so I wasn't worried about it. So why am I hearing his voice? He cracks my neck. That lump was an aneurysm that was right up here. That crack of the neck forced it to open up even more and send more clots on this way, with 3 clots went in my brain.
Wow.
So I suffered 3 strokes. And it took a few years to get over it and push through it. And
well, and I mean, there are some people that's the moment that they get to meet Jesus. I mean,
I know. I realize that.
Right.
And I think it was a moment that opened a whole different door for me, because writing this book coincided with that first movie really come out, What If, as well. And all of a sudden I started getting invited to, please come talk to medical teams about this, come talk to churches about this, talk. And then the What If, and then God's Not Dead. And all of a sudden I found out that I'm Christian and I'm pro-life, and I started doing all these different speaking events at different venues, which I never thought that door would ever be. I never thought about doing speaking events.
And your journey of faith, it actually began before your film career began.
Oh, sure.
And that starts in your childhood.
Yeah.
Now, from the time that you found Christ as a child, and you share your testimony of being impacted at a Billy Graham event, as a matter of fact, and to season 5 of Hercules. Where was faith in that balance and dynamic? I mean,
faith was always there, but I never needed it until this crisis happened.
Yeah, and I think
reality.
that's an important point for a lot of people.
I never stopped believing in God or believing in Jesus. It was always part of my life. I grew up in a very strict Lutheran household, but it was never something that was away from me. I would still, even if I wasn't going to church every Sunday, I still prayed.
Correct.
I still talk to God. I mean, there was a guy that told me something called the grateful prayer, which I passed on to my atheist and agnostic friends. You can still find places to be grateful, guys.
And it kind of pulls out the point that you were doing what you should, but you were not doing what you could.
Exactly.
And then once you had this moment where you kind of recognized God's hand sparing you, restoring you, enabling you to move forward, you started to do more of what you should and could, which kind of brings us to our next topic of the book, Share the Light, which, that's kind of what every Christian can do. Tell us about this, Sam, because this is kind of a project that's close to your heart.
So this is based on the movie Let There Be Light, which was very successful in theaters and is
It's
on DVD.
recently come out on DVD.
Yeah.
Yes, you can get it on DVD, you can go to Amazon.
And I just wanted the movie to have more of the theatrical impact. Like people sat in the theaters and they watched the movie, and then they applauded, and then they sat in their seats and waited for the credit run. And then going out of the theater, they actually talked to strangers on the way out of the. We got so many emails from people. And I thought, maybe this movie should have even a wider impact. And so we decided to write a devotional, a 40-day devotional, but you can do it obviously in as much time as you want. And then at the end of every devotional, we offer a suggestion for how to reach out into your community, to share the light, to share God's light.
Sort of this.
And but positive action points of what you can do to help your community, to help people that you know, because so often we don't know how to take what we have. And this is a gift, right? And we are supposed to be examples for others so that they know the light that shines within us, right?
That's right.
So,
well, and I think it's important to give people very practical applications, because we live in a world that really knows how to highlight and celebrate all the wrong things.
Ain't that the truth?
And whenever there are people who are doing the right things, they either quickly get just set aside or looked over or ignored. And I think one of the important things about, Let There Be Light as a film is it highlighted some of those moments, which inspired people. And then this devotional takes that inspiration and gives it some action.
Gives it some, put faith to your faith.
Yeah.
right?
Well, and that's what's great about, in movies, we can reach so many people. I used to get stopped all the time because of Hercules or Andromeda, my other series. Going through airports, I travel a lot, much like you do. So you get stopped all the time. It's now, please do more movies like
They
Let
probably
There Be
don't
Light.
squeeze my arms
God's
like
Not
they do
Dead.
yours.
But they,
You know? I mean, they want me to pray for them and stuff. They're gonna walk up and go, "Oh, so strong! You're so strong."
but it is amazing to see the reach that movies can get out to people. And Hollywood still doesn't really want to go down that road. They have their own agenda that they want to push out. And, you know, we live in a secular world.
Well, they
right
don't
now.
understand it. You know?
And they admit
There are a
to
lot
that.
of
They
it-
admit to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of what they do understand is success.
Yes.
You know, and success is
Enjoy
driven
success,
in the Hollywood context by revenue and ratings and you know, all these different things. And I think whenever the body of Christ demonstrates that it has a desire to receive quality content, and you know, then the rest of the world recognizes, hey, there's our measure of success there. You know, then they turn around and they get exposed to the light that's in us by our willingness to engage them.
Sure.
You know, I think there's a lot of folks that try to condemn a culture rather than conform the culture by engaging it. You know,
Sure.
and being able to say, hey, you know, these are things that you can do to prove to those people that what you say is true.
Yeah.
That you
And the
actually-
other thing is it has a resonance in and of itself. When you are doing good things for other people, you feel that. And that's uplifting. And so in this way, the book can kind of help to uplift the culture. And you don't have to do the things in the book, but maybe it'll spark something in your mind. Oh yeah, you know what? I didn't think of going there and doing that. And so I'm excited that this book can reach so many people.
Well, and if people want to engage with the book, obviously, you know, Let There Be Light's a film that's available in all downloadable forms and contexts. The book, where do they go to look for that?
The book, well, it's published by Broad Street, so it's at all the regular book retailers and online and all of that.
Right.
Share the light.
When we come back, I want to ask Sam about what she suggests to parents who are searching for solutions in regards to their children's education. But before we get back to that, I want to give you the opportunity to find out more about how you can get Kevin's book and Sam's book in your hands today. You're watching The Difference.
When you give to Sanctuary of Hope, you are giving a child a chance at life and a hopeful future. For your gift of $50 or more, you will receive as a gift a special coffee mug, an inspiring prayer journal, and Sam Sorbo's book, Teach from Love. And for a gift of $150 or more, you will receive all 3 gifts, along with a framed wall art featuring a familiar blessing from Pastor Hagee.
And now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his...
Call the number on the screen or visit jhm.org.
Sanctuary of Hope. Will you help us change the world one life at a time? To show our appreciation, every gift of $500 or more will receive a framed painting entitled Hope and Liberty. For $1,500 or more, the forever free bronze statue. And for gifts over $2,500, a tree planted with a personalized plaque on the Sanctuary of Hope campus. Plus, your choice between the painting or statue as a thank you for your generous support. For more information, call the number on the screen or visit our website.
Dear Pastor Hagee, I just wanted to write you to say how honored Jean and I are to have been partners in your ministry all these years, and to see all the amazing things you've accomplished around the world with the gifts we and others like us have gladly given over the years.
I want to thank you for making it possible for us to preach the gospel to the nations of the world. Thank you, and God bless you.
Become a partner today. Call the toll-free number or visit jhm.org.
Last year, 5,000 Christians attended the CUFI Washington, D.C. Summit. The 2017 Summit was our most power-packed gathering in history. Our 2 countries are stronger together, and Christians United for Israel plays a major role in keeping that relationship strong. Now, get ready for bigger, better things at the 2018 Summit as CUFI celebrates Israel at 70. Where will you be in July 2018? Register now.
Welcome back to The Difference. Sam and Kevin Sorbo are our guests. Now, Sam, you've written several books, but this one, Teach from Love, is a school year devotional for families. And you really value education and how it applies to the family. As a matter of fact, you take it to the extreme of homeschooling. And you know, in our modern context, homeschooling is extreme, but you know, I mean, that's where school was for so many years. Yeah. You know, so you see it in a day-to-day application. As a pastor, there's 22,000 members at Cornerstone Church, and they have various choices in front of them for educating their children. Some of them choose the public option. Some of them choose the private option. Some of them choose the homeschool option. The thing that I try to communicate to all of them is the one place that you as a parent have the role of an educator is around your dinner table. It's in your home.
Right.
And, if your school doesn't teach Bible, that doesn't mean that dad can't teach Bible.
Right.
That doesn't mean that mom can't teach Bible. I mean, the school, they might need to cover science and math and things that you don't have a certificate to teach in. But, if you have Jesus in your heart, you've got a certificate from him to teach your children what they need to know.
Right.
The thing that really touched me about this book is it kind of gives an application to that. For parents, how do you see this impacting the relationship between parents and kids as they work through their school year?
Well, you talk about whether the Bible is being taught in our schools, and typically in public school, of course, it's not being. In fact, it's antithetical to the Bible.
Yeah, correct.
And I, as a home educator, I tutor other people's children also, and so I would bring in godly characteristics because I thought it would be interesting to try to imbue some godly characteristics into these children, and it was very successful, and they took it to heart. And we would have these discussions about what does it mean, honesty? What is, all of these different elements that are character traits. And so I decided to do a devotional for homeschoolers. But then I realized, wait a minute, who really needs character traits being poured into them? It's all children. Every family can do this. And so it's a devotional that follows the school year. So it's 36 weeks. We do 2 characteristics a week with stories from the Bible and also stories just from the culture. And discussion questions to prod your children to join the discussion and figure out what these characteristics look like, what they mean, how they're displayed, and what does it look like if they're not there, right? And in this way, we can imbue our children with these characteristics that are so precious, so important for a free society, right? Why do we obey the law?
Yeah, that's so good. And I think our children are the sanctuary. That's who we're supposed to minister to as moms and dads, as parents, is that it doesn't start just with the teacher, it starts at home. But I like how you say you can give this to, can give this to my daughter in the back seat. You read while I'm driving. You can talk about this with the other kids. With our 4, we're constantly saying, we're going to take one of these traits and you can use it and, give examples. And
you can give it to your teachers even in public school, because I made sure that every characteristic has a story around it that's not biblical in case there's a problem with that for the teacher to go through with the class. You write it up on the board, you workshop the word a little bit, you explore it, and then they take it to heart. And what I noticed was the kids were using the word later on in the day.
Correct.
Because that was like a bing, that was like a little thing for them.
Yeah, well, and you mentioned you can give it to the teacher. I think it's important for viewers to know there are a lot of teachers in public school that have a tremendous amount of faith.
Yes.
Sure.
And
exactly.
they kind of consider public school to be their mission field.
That's right.
And they're handcuffed and muzzled a lot, but they're doing what they can to be salt and light.
Right.
And I know as a pastor that when I try to encourage parents to share the word with their children, the first thing that comes to mind is just that old doubt. The devil says, you can't do that.
Right.
And in their mind, they think, I can't open the Bible. I can't preach. I'm going, we experienced in our relationship where, I'm, saying we should talk about this. And, where Kendal grew up in a Catholic, faith, it was, unless you're wearing the robe, don't touch the book, And so things like this become great ways for people to begin to experience success and then recognize it's not about, the qualification, it's about the willingness. Are you willing to
Sam has a great companion book that goes with it, I think. And They're Your Kids.
Yeah, that's
which
my
is about
homeschooling.
Yeah.
So if you have any doubts, if you're on the fence, get my book, They're Your Kids, and read about, it's not as hard as we think. And you're talking about, that you need some sort of credential to teach whatever. You don't, it's in the book. So you just take out the book, and that includes the Bible, but it includes all the science textbooks, all the math textbooks. It's all in the book. And I believe God credentialed parents for their children.
Well, and if you really want to know, he not only hardwired parents for their children, he hardwired children for their parents.
Of course, yeah.
Every son wants to hear from his dad.
Yeah.
Every daughter wants to hear from her mother. Every daughter wants affirmation from the father. They want affection from mom. And that's just the way God wired the inside of us. And so, it's one of those natural relationships that when it's fed and it's taken care of, it creates stronger families and stronger.
That's my whole mission field, right? Is improving education one family at a time. It's encouraging parents to keep their children close, to grow the family bonds. Because if there's one thing that the school does, is it forms a wedge between the child and the parent. Yeah. It sends home homework, and then the parent becomes the taskmaster. Correct. And the child doesn't look to the parent for authority, it looks to the school for authority. So there's a dissolution that happens.
Or there's the parent has basically acclimated. I love the concept of they're your kids. The parent has just acclimated outsourcing.
Right.
Son comes home with a question, I don't know, go ask the coach. And it's one of those
Go
things.
ask your teacher.
Where the parent needs to say, no, that's my responsibility to be able to, even if I have to say, I don't know, but I'll find out.
And that's what I tell parents. If they're thinking about homeschooling, you don't have to be the teacher, you have to be the lead learner. Mm-hmm. So when your child comes and says, why are frogs green? You say, I don't know, let's go find out. And you show them how to find stuff out. Because we need to raise lifelong learners. Yeah. We need to spark that inquisitive nature in.
They all rely on Siri now. So.
Yeah, they do. Siri, Alexa.
Well, and in many ways, you talk about Siri. Digital education has become another replacement for conversation. Yeah. The things that my father taught me, he had to tell me, and I watch parents and kids in the modern dynamic today, and the kid is here, and as long as he's quiet, Dad's good, I'd want to take it out of his hand and go, hey, introduce yourself to your father, and y'all have a conversation, because that's where you're going to learn something.
They don't talk anymore. They don't go. I drive by parks. I don't see kids in parks anymore. I was also in parks. I have the #1 after-school program in the state of California for 21 years now, called the World Fit for Kids. I work with over 12,000 kids, and the whole idea is to get these people. Exercise is a big thing for me.
Yes.
And then education is a big thing for me. My father was 35 years in the public schools. Yeah. So to me, it's like, let's work on these things. We do. LA Unified has a 54% dropout rate. Yeah. Wow. The 12,000 kids that we've worked with over the last 21 years, we average a 98% graduation rate and a 67% higher GPA. Yeah. What are we doing that the public schools can't be doing?
You're making yourself available. Yeah. And that's what we want you to do. We want you to make yourself available. In your community, to your pastor. Go to church and ask the church what it is that you can do to help them spread the light and spread the love of Jesus Christ, because I assure you, each and every person has an opportunity each and every day to make a difference. That's what this show's all about, making a difference, encouraging you to do that. And I want to thank Kevin.
Pleasure.
For being a difference maker.
Thank you.
Sam, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Again, whether you're going to share the light or you're going to reach your family or you're going to find the strength that God has already placed in you through his son, Jesus Christ. You guys have a great day. You're watching The Difference.
When you give to Sanctuary of Hope, you are giving a child a chance at life and a hopeful future. For your gift of $50 or more, you will receive as a gift a special coffee mug, an inspiring prayer journal, and Sam and Kevin Sorbo's book, Share the Light. And for a gift of $150 or more, you will receive all 3 gifts along with a framed wall art featuring a familiar blessing from Pastor Hagee.
And now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord...
Call the number on the screen or visit jhm.org.
Sanctuary of Hope. Will you help us change the world one life at a time? To show our appreciation, every gift of $500 or more will receive a framed painting entitled Hope and Liberty. For $1,500 or more, the forever free bronze statue. And for gifts over $2,500, a tree planted with a personalized plaque on the Sanctuary of Hope campus. Plus, your choice between the painting or statue as a thank you for your generous support. For more information, call the number on the screen or visit our website.